Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment.
Alright, I'm going to do something a little different. It's going to be 5 knives, and it's going to be what was I thinking when I bought those knives kind of thing. And I'm going to start off with this little one right here. This is by Imperial, and it's known as the Very Sharp. And it was made in the USA, and let's see, can I show it here? Has a patent number and everything. And what you got on it is this itty bitty knife. It's a serrated blade. This is a fishing tool, and then you got this monster thing here that you can slip your hands in, and it's a fish scaler. Obviously it's a fish gadget kind of knife, and among other things on it also, if you can see it, has a ruler going here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's about 9.5 inches long. You know how long it is because it was also used to measure the length of a fish, and as you can tell, it's shaped like a fish. And not only what was I thinking when I bought it, what was Imperial thinking when they made it? But I don't know how well it sold, but I had to pick one up because I collect fishing gadgets, and talk about a gadget. They're very sharp, and it is very sharp, but it's also very weird. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, this next one, I'm almost embarrassed to show it. No, I am embarrassed to show it, but what the heck? Talk about weird. It's like a mermaid that's about ready to be devoured by her lover dragon. And it's really kind of interesting. If you notice, mermaid is in green, and her tail goes on forever, and it ends like a snake tail, so she's like part snake. And then you've got the dragon there with its wings and everything. Nice face going on there, and goes all the way down too, wrapped all the way around. And then there's some kind of shell-like thing on the end here, biting at the very end of the knife. Some kind of nautilus or something, I don't know, some kind of shell thing. And then it's all wrapped around a town that is also carved into the imitation wood. Got the town on that side, and another view of the town on this side. And then when you open it up, I don't know how you hold it, but when you open it up, you got a nice big old blade here. Stainless steel blade. I don't know what the marking is there. I have no idea who made this or anything. I have no idea how I ended up finding it. The blade seems pretty tight. The blade is sharp. It's probably either 420 or 440 steel. I don't know. And it's not a bad, decent stock. It's kind of thick. About a 7-inch blade on it. And a kind of interesting knife. Why did I buy it? Well, it's a shelf decoration for a bunch of other nautical knives that I have, so I just put it on the shelf so it would look kind of cool with all the other nautical stuff. So there was a purpose to it, but still, talk about a weird knife. And on the bright side, I only paid like about 20 bucks for it, and it does look kind of cool. So, and it is definitely a conversation starter, so it's got that going for it. Let's move on to this next one. Alright, this next one is not quite as embarrassing, but it's still a fish. And this time it's actually made of wood, and it's carved. You got that nice fish head on the front there with the eye there. You got a mouth. Got the gills here going on. And see all the scales in place. Goes all the way down. You've got a nice fish tail at the end. And the brass collar in the middle. And you see these little legs there? That's so you can actually set it down, and it'll display just like so. So you can set it on the table and leave it that way. Because once you pop it open by pulling this down, out comes a nice big carving knife and a fork. So it's actually used for, you know, cutting up your meat and such. So it's kind of a pretty cool idea, and it's really nice and decorative. I can see how people would kind of dig it. You got screws here holding something in place. I think that's holding the the collar here, the leg and everything in place. And you can see here the wood that everything is getting slipped into, because it is all wood. Now let me see if I can get this closed back up. Yeah, so you got to be careful putting it together, because the fork tines go in the fish tail and the knife blade goes into the fish head. But when you close it up, it's nice. You can sit it out there. It's on display, and then when it's time to do some carving, you've got your fork and your knife. So pretty cool. Not nearly as embarrassing as the dragon mermaid thing. Okay, let's move on to another one. And this is probably the biggest knife I have, and it's just a big honking machete. And you can see there, set it down. Not in the world's greatest shape, really up sweat there. Does have a little flex in it. This is actually made in Birmingham, England, and you've got this figure. So it's another figural knife of a woman for the handle. You grab it right there in between her bottom and her breast. It's got the head on the back here, and you see where it is pinned in place. So the blade, I believe, was out of Birmingham, England, but the handle, I think, was applied somewhere else, and that is because, let's take a look at the sheath. You see here the sheath clearly says Jamaica, and you've got some carving and everything in there. And the sheath is actually wood, and you've got a couple pins that where you would have a like a leather strap or something, so you could wear it. And the sheath actually, what you end up having to do is you drop the blade inside here and push down. I am not going to close it all the way up because it is very hard to get it out. But that's the way it goes. You just have a wooden sheath that goes right into it, and a wood handle, and a big old carbon steel blade, probably 1070 carbon steel. Like I said, made out of England. You've got 3 stripes there on it. But very functional, very much just a standard machete, but they turned it into a souvenir knife of Jamaica. And I assume that the changes were done in Jamaica, but who knows? Maybe they were actually making these in Great Britain and shipping them to Jamaica for sale, because if you remember, Jamaica at one time belonged to the United Kingdom. So there's this, another one. Nice big old machete. And let's look at this final one. Again, I might be embarrassed by this one. But then again, why should someone be embarrassed by a knife made by Tramontina in Brazil? I mean, it's a reputable company. They make good quality knives and everything, but you usually don't see it looking like this. And you see the head there. It's been damaged. I'm going to repair this someday. And then you've got the sheath with all sorts of stuff on it. You got another head there. This is an actual tooth right here, down here. That's an actual tooth. It isn't like fake or anything. And those stones and everything, this is an actual seashell. And I don't know what this stone is. These are all seashells too. I don't know what the cut glass is or anything. But all of that stuff was actually put in there. The epoxy and resin and everything was molded and stuck in there. And then all the other stuff done on the sheath, the braiding, the cutting and everything on the sheath here was done. It's a brass sheath with all that stuff added to it. And then when you pull it out, once again, a very functional machete blade, made in Brazil. This one's a little stiffer than the one in Jamaica, mainly because it's a little shorter. Actually, if you can see here, quite a bit shorter. But again, just a really strange, odd knife. And I'm not exactly sure how I ended up finding it. I know that Smoky Mountain Knife Works is selling like little ones that are about 6 or 7 inches long or so. But this one, I mean, fully functional machete. and all of that stuff was put on there by hand and glued in place and everything else. And we have a date here on the sheath too. 1993, so that's when the person made it. And I think on the other side is the person who made it. I don't know for sure, but that's the information I know about it. So kind of cool. Something you don't see every day, but I thought, what the heck, time to show some weird stuff. And so that's what this video was, some weird stuff. If you think you want to see some other weird knives I have, let me know in the comments and I'll dig them out.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.